Right, everyone's talking about the glitz and private jets at Davos this week, but if you look at the actual data coming out of the World Economic Forum, there's a completely different picture forming. It's not about the hype anymore. 26 is officially the year that things start to get realigned. So I've gone through all the reports released this week, so you don't have to. And I found four massive signals that tell us exactly where the job market is going. We're seeing a flattening of management, a strange paradox in hiring, and a shocking new report that says your boss is now more trusted than the government. So I'm going to dive into these four takeaways from Davos 2026, and I hope you find it super useful because I have. So story one. The hiring paradox. This is a LinkedIn report. I'm going to share my screen, and you can see for yourself. So this is interesting. So here we go. So the headline is LinkedIn data released at Davos shows that while AI has added 1.3 million new jobs globally, AI engineers, heads of AI, data annotators, and all of that stuff, the overall hiring in advanced economies is actually down 20 to 35% compared to pandemic levels, which is super interesting. So you can see if you jump on this report, I'll put the link in the show notes and you can read it. But super interesting. So hiring's down 20% from pre-pandemic levels, but then lots of new jobs are being created. And so that's interesting. And that's interesting for a few reasons, because I think, and you're seeing a lot of new jobs are being created. You're seeing jobs go for various reasons, which we'll get into. But the couple of things that are interesting for me here is a skills mismatch. So massive skill scarcity. A lot of these high demand jobs, there are not enough people for. 70% of US roles now require some AI literacy, and 80% of the workforce feels underprepared. So we have people, but we don't have the right people. And so companies and individuals really need to invest in training. Like, don't wait for like your company, don't wait for whoever it is, the government, whatever. Just like dive down. Google do this great Google Skills thing, googleskills.com. They've made it free. Loads of courses on AI and all of this kind of stuff. Said like, dive in. So many of these MOOCs, massive online learning communities, no excuse, absolutely no excuse. Then entry level crisis, and this is another big story. This has been carrying on for the last year or two. This is going to continue. The data shows that entry level roles are now stable statistically, but the bar's getting raised. You're no longer competing just with your peers. You're competing with agentic AI for basic tasks. We're seeing it in firms like McKinsey. You know, these junior analysts jobs there's less of them. McKinsey want to get to like 1-to-1 AI agent to human over the next 18 months. So it's an interesting way in thinking through how to position yourself. So key takeaway for me is if you're waiting for the job market to bounce back to the pre-pandemic levels, like stop doing that. And it hasn't crashed. It has mutated. It has changed, and there is growth. AI roles. If you look at the kind of blue collar stuff, plumbers, electricians, mechanics, engineers, all of those things. So go think about where the jobs are and how you can best leverage those opportunities. So story two, the great flattening of managers. And again, I'm going to just show you the story here. And this has been happening for a year or two, and it's starting to flatten. And here we go. So look at this. This is what a mega manager is. Let me show you this first. Welcome to the era of the mega manager. But just to get to kind of like put this into context, major players like Meta, Amazon, UPS, I'll jump back on this in a sec to give you context. They aren't just firing people. They're deleting layers. They're taking rungs of the ladder out. And the ratio of employees to managers is shifting. So it was 1 manager to 5 on average. Now it's 1 to 15 or more. So this kind of coordinator role, this like classic manager, it's gone. It's a very dangerous place to be in 2026. If you're in a coordinator role, someone who manages the processes but is not doing the work, agentic AI can do that, right? They can do those things, and they're taking over those roles. And then you have this like player coach almost that's coming back, where these leaders are still leading, but they can get their hands dirty and actually do the work. So that's important. And then you have this big risk of, I think, if you're managing more people, depending on how you're doing it, there's maybe a danger of some of these people burning out as they feel overworked and stuff. So think through that. So that's an interesting one. I would say also just on that, this mega manager, this term mega manager, it's relatively new. I didn't make it up, but it's interesting. And what is a mega manager? I'm going to jump on my perplexity because I like perplexity. So mega manager refers to a manager who oversees an unusually large number of direct reports. So it feels like it's going this week. Typically 25 or more employees. And this emerging workplace phenomenon reflects the organizational structuring towards flatter hierarchies with fewer middle management layers. So this is a growing trend. It's appearing now in a few different stories. Very interesting. And I think we'll see this grow as the year goes on. So keep an eye for that. Story 3, the crisis of insularity. This is an Edelman Trust Barometer. If you've not looked at their reports, Edelman do a very good job. Every year they do a trust barometer, a little just kind of finger on the pulse. What's going on. This is what this one looks like. This is 2026. You can download the report. I believe it's free. Trust amid insularity. And you can download it and you can really kind of dive in to the key topics. I think it's really interesting. I'm going to give you some of my key takes. Worth just kind of clarifying, insularity means a lack of interest in cultures, ideas, or peoples outside one's own experience. Now that has been going on a lot. There's so much conflict, so much argument, war, things like, there's just a lot of, polarization in the world, let's say. And so this kind of brings it into context. So the 2060 report was released yesterday. It reveals a crisis of insularity. So the headline findings stark. It's 70% of people globally are now unwilling to trust or work with someone who holds different values, different views. So trust is shifting here because there is a silver lining. There's always a silver lining. And this is for business leaders. My employer remains the most trusted institution, 78%, far outpacing government and media. So people have lost faith in the system, but still mostly trust their company. Really interesting. So where's the town hall nowadays? You've got, I know X, Elon Musk, they've kind of trying to position themselves as the town hall. But I think maybe, the workplace is becoming the last town square, almost in society. It's the only place where people appear to have to work with people with opposing political and social views. They're still forced to collaborate toward a shared goal. They're trying to pull in the right direction. It's very, very interesting. And I know it's not as clear cut. People find it extremely difficult to work with people in a team that they fundamentally disagree with. When they find out that they support a rival football team or they support the opposition political party or whatever it is. Humans are tribal, we find it difficult, but it's nice to see there's a silver lining, and I'm holding on to that because I'm an optimist and I like that. And I feel the only way to really truly understand people is through conversation, and that is listening. Big part of conversation is listening, not just talking. I know I'm talking a lot right now, but it's just me. So key takeaway 26, culture isn't just about engagement anymore. It's about diplomacy. If you're a manager, you're now perhaps a trust broker, and your job is to keep the peace in a very polarized world. I talked about at lunch today, IQ, EQ, CQ, cultural fluency, your ability to bring people together from different walks of life, different views. Absolutely love that. Final story. just as good as as these others. AI redundancy washing, and this is a Mercer talent trend. I'll put the link in the show notes. And this is a concept. I think it's a new term coined at Davos. AI redundancy washing, and this is when companies blame AI for layoffs to boost their stock price. Look, we're really, really efficient. Oh my God. Even if the cuts were actually just due to poor management or bad sales. But you've seen that a lot. There's a lot of big companies, loads of companies doing it. It's so easy. Oh, AI, don't need the people. But, just kind of put your head above the parapet, have a look through, see what's really going on, or actually look into it. So this is interesting, right? This is a fear of people get scared. It's almost like an anxiety tax. Fear of job loss due to AI. Stats are in this report that it spiked 28 to 40% in just 2 years. 62% of employees say leaders are ignoring this emotional toll. So I had a great quote last year: psychology is more contagious than the flu. And it's true. And you hear this, right? Like reading these stories, AI is taking my jobs. Oh my God, oh my God. And people believe it. And sometimes, there are jobs that are being displaced 100%. But just take a breath, look through what's going on, try and understand what's going on. And just for these big company headlines of redundancies, blaming on AI, just think through it. Think carefully, jump on your favorite LLM and just really research, go deep dive, try and see what's really going on. And then this leads on to this point of this is this trust crisis. Because of this washing, trust in leadership is plummeting. So employees don't know if they're being fired because of a bot or because of a budget cut. So if you're a leader, so much value in leading with the truth, being honest, all of those things, massive. And then from the investor angle, 97% of investors say they will arguably punish firms that don't upskill their workers. So the smart money knows you can't just fire your way to AI success. Super interesting. So my ending and takeaway to this is obviously subscribe, follow me on all the usual places. Jump on LinkedIn, you can connect with me, drop us a DM, happy to chat. However, go hard and upskill. I think the future belongs to people who adapt. One thing is for sure, things are changing at an incredible pace. Don't get left behind. There's always so much opportunity to learn, develop, and I'm very optimistic. There's loads of different camps. But right now, I'm super optimistic. I think there's a lot of opportunity out there for those that choose to look. See you soon.